Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Thoughts on Thursday. We were just coming to the end of our first content series where we've been talking about innovation, sustainability, partnerships, and many other aspects of the recovery and the guest journey. And I think we all got to thinking just how much the world's changed over the last 8 weeks or so, but what a great opportunity to have a session just dedicated to thinking about ourselves and how to manage yourself right now and in the weeks and months ahead. Because I think one thing we're all seeing is that we're in this for the long haul in terms of, you know, our personal lives and our families and of course our businesses and hospitality as well. So to lead the discussion this week, I think we took two experts because I think we all are passionate about this subject. So really excited to firstly introduce Anish, who's got a long career from Accor and Novotel through Intercontinental, and then a really impressive career at Hilton, training a lot of front office teams and really thinking about how to get the best out of people. And then that's going to be followed by Erik, who now is an independent consultant working exactly in this space, but again, super background with Louis Vuitton and Shangri-La, and absolutely a hospitality pro and able to shed some light on the subject. So without any further ado, over to you guys. I think, Anish, you were going to kick us off first.
Okay, well, thank you for the chance to speak today. And I just wanted to clarify, I don't have any slides for today, so just me and my voice and my body language, which hopefully should not put you off to sleep wherever you are. So thank you for the opportunity, first of all. I think, James, when you brought up this topic about resiliency, for me, I think it's hit me quite hard when I say the reality, because in my case, it's quite tough because I've actually gone through a furlough period, as many of the big chains have. And I just got the sad news last week that I'm one of those people, you know, who will not be continuing with the company. So it's actually, I think today's session probably is as real as it can get, right? Or how do you still continue to be positive? So there are a couple of things I want to share with the team. I think one is just looking back at how I've been maintaining myself, and even from now on, and something which the sooner we get back into business, what is it that I would focus on? So a couple of things I want to first talk about is looking back into now. I call this, which I just created it myself, it's called the SOS model. So SOS model literally means, S standing for, the first S standing for your own social systems. Like, what about your friends, your family, your well-wishers? Make sure you're hanging around with the positive people in life, because there's so much negativity going on. You switch on the TV today, you switch on the news, there's all this negative stuff coming in. So you need to fall back on your real social system, it could be your family and friends. So something to think about, how deep is that system and how supportive are they? And it's like they say, it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I'm feeling depressed, and go and have a chat with them, because what this situation is exposing is there's a lot of mental health issues coming out, which people would mildly call as depression or light depression, but these things are now getting much more serious, where before somebody takes the extreme steps, just make sure you are having a good social system. The O in the middle, like the SOS, so O in the middle stands for what I would say is ownership. You need to take ownership of where you're going and how you're going to maintain your life, your hobbies, your direction in life. And I think what this has done for me, at least in the last 3 months, is that it's actually made me question what my goals are, what my vision is. Do I want to be in the hospitality industry? Do I want to change my industry? Is it meaningful enough, or why did I get into it in the first place? The good news is at least my why is quite strong, and there's a reason why I got into it, so I'll still continue with that. But there's no harm in taking a break and saying, okay, maybe this is not what I should be doing, and maybe I should be spending some more time maybe with the family, or doing something, instead of going into the commercial area, maybe I can get a house in the rural area and spend time with my family and work from there, for example. So all these kind of things where I think you need to take ownership. And I've been taking ownership of, deciding a few things for my life. So that's put me in. And the third one is, the third S would stand for feeding your soul. Now, what I mean by that is, again, think about as a kid, what are the things you liked? What makes you happy? What's your passion about? Is it really all work, work, work? So for me, my passion has been, music and playing drums. And actually, I've got back to literally bashing the drums. I can't argue with my wife, as they say. So I would rather take that energy off on the drums in terms of having any debates. But what I mean is, start thinking about what feeds your soul. If it's, if it's painting, if it's baking, and I think nowadays, if you go to Instagram, it's just full of baking recipes. Right? Everybody's now become a baker. So these are the three things I would talk about. The SOS model. One is, again, your social system. O is your ownership, and S is feeding your soul. So in the interest of time, quickly I want to rattle through. If you are in the situation where you do have a job, which is a good thing, and things about if you're on the hotel line, that's where my expertise comes in. So my suggestions would be is, now that you get back to the cliches, then it's not the new normal, right? Things are going to be different. So my tip would be, do not expect things to be the same from now on. Change, I think, is going to be normal. And when I say by change, we are all used to, as professionals in our jobs, having this 3-year strategy, 5-year strategy. Quite honestly, I think if you can even come up with a 3-month strategy for now, and I can stick to it, that's a good thing, because 3 months in today's COVID time is already a long time. If you think about 3 months ago where we were and where we are now. So I think I would probably start thinking about 3 months to 6-month strategies. Don't force it on your teams to start thinking about 1 or 2-year plans, because it might just fall flat. So what I mean by that is be nimble, number one. Number two is, for all the young hoteliers getting in, think about it from an owner's point of view. They will want people which are quite nimble and multitasking. So gone are the days where if I'm on reception, I only do reception work. I probably need to start thinking of, hey, can I do check-ins? Can I do F&B? Can I clean some rooms? That's, I think, the future. And that might make you a much more better employee in the long term than only just sticking to what you already know. Third is, in terms of if you're on the commercial part, if you're opening up your own business, please do think about segments which you had given up on, right? For us, I can't get into more details, but if I look at the Marriotts and the Hiltons, the biggest segment right now are the doctors and the medical practitioners and the emergency people, which, all this time as a segmentation, we had never even thought about them. We had never thought of working with the government to give us some steady business, right? So think about outside the box about what you thought were not your segments. Those become now maybe your bread and butter segments. Emergency plans is something else which I want to probably share with you, is that, when, excuse my French, when the shit hit the fan, we were all scrambling around, not knowing in the first few weeks about how we should do. Do we shut down the hotel? Do we not shut down? So I think this exposes the chinks in the armor that your emergency plans need to be now quite robust. And with that is your communication plan. And I think one lesson we learned in the past was, when do we communicate? What do we communicate? And how much do we communicate? Because there's a risk of sometimes over communicating also, because you're probably making the guest afraid. So I would probably go back and challenge your existing emergency plan and rehash them and start thinking about how foolproof are they, especially from a communication point of view. I think because communication is going to be quite a key. And the fourth thing, which I just want to leave as a thought for everybody, is before this COVID hit us, we were saying, oh, I'm Hilton, I'm not going to talk to Marriott, or I'm not going to talk to Starwood, I'm not going to talk to my competition. I think the new mantra now is you need to probably expand your network. And even if you have 10 hotels down your street, you should start networking with them and working together rather than working against each other. Because when COVID hit the industry, we are all in this together, right? So gone are those days where I think we'll be working against each other. I think the time has come for us to work with each other. And I also mean with your own competition. So these are the four sort of food for thought triggers I just wanted to share. Of course, I can't reveal any numbers or data coming out of Hilton right now. It's not fair for me to say that. And the last one I want to make sure we are clear is that every single hotel chain is now doing clean stay and clean rooms. I think it's becoming a commodity. So we need to be careful about not forgetting that the guest personalization is probably now even more important than ever before. If really dig into details about the customer before they arrive, and I can personalize the stay, I think that's going to be the game changer. Everybody's got clean rooms, and the guest is expecting clean rooms, at least from a five-star chain, right? So on that note, James, I think I've hit the clock with a 15-minute mark. I can go on and on, so I'm looking forward to the Q&A from the audience today. Back to you, James.
Perfect, thank you. I think that SOS model was nice and simple, right? I think we probably capture everything we need to kind of think about there. Really appreciate that, Anish, and especially, you know, you're, as you say, you're living this, right? You're one of us who's just, you know, you've been through the furlough, and now you're out there thinking about your next role. So it really is the time to kind of stay strong. So thanks so much for taking the time to share with us. Erik, over to you. Love to get your perspective.
Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Erik, and although I am right now by name kind of clear who I am, I also figured out over the last years, you know, why am I here and who am I, which is questions that I've been asking for a long time. So with this topic of resilience and leading yourself that I breezed through with James and Anish, I thought, I love it, because right now in my profession, what I'm doing right now, coming from, I'm starting with entertainment, going to hospitality, and now I'm actually leading, standing in front of the executive boardrooms with a bunch of executives or senior management who are asking me the questions of, how can we engage our people more? I want to be more inspiring. How can I become a thought leader? I want to do, and I want to make sure that what we do makes sense to myself or others, as well as, you know, who am I? I want me, and I want my leadership team to be able to answer the question, who am I? What are our values? So that's what I'm doing. And today I thought I would give you a little snap out of that, and a little from a neuroscientific point of view. So you both get to hear it and you get to experience a little bit of it. So be with me today if you do not mind. And I want to start today with a little story that takes us back into 2013. And this is when I had this opportunity to work with Shangri-La hotels and resorts. However, the story begins in March, and I'm really set on that, you know. I do want to work for the most exquisite, luxurious hospitality organization or company in the world. That was my goal. This is what I want to do. I was coming out of Le Roche. I've been working with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines at that time. So I was like, I want to go luxury. Where can I find that? People told me to go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or anywhere in China. And for me, you know, China, that was far away, sounded really adventurous and exciting. So I was like, I'm gonna go to China. So I sat down and tried to start looking for a job in China. This was in March. I started online, Hilton, Marriott, Starwood, Shangri-La. There are names on this list that I don't even remember. There are names that are quite unknown. And I kept on getting no, no, no. At one point, I even get a yes from Sanya with Starwood. They really go like, yes, you can, we would love you to work with us. But then the government in China, in Sanya, says no to my visa. So I get rejected again. 4 to 5 months in, I finally find this one interview with Shangri-La in China. And I'm having 1 interview, 2 interviews. It's looking good, 3 interviews. But then it comes that kick again. The government, the visa. So they really have to prove for the government there that I am so good that no one in the country can actually take that responsibility, right? And of course, seriously, in hospitality, is that really going to be the case? Can you not find someone in the local market that can do the job? So I still remember this interview with the director of rooms. And we had this interview, and at this time, I probably have had about 50 interviews online. Maybe I have received 25 no's. The rest is just silence. No one has been talking to me. But you know how that feels. It's just, why should I keep going? And then I'm sitting there with this gentleman who he looks at me at one point, and he's completely silent. And in his own, for me, this Chinese way of just, I couldn't read his face. And then he goes, Erik, you black man. Erik, you've never been to China. And then I'm sensing the third one coming, where it just goes, Erik. And before he goes to that third one, I go, stop it right there. Without due respect, sir, I do know that I'm a black man. I do know that I've never been to China. And I do know that I might not be ready for going to China. But that is beyond the point. The point right now is that I am dedicated to go there because I believe in that I can make it. And I believe that I can learn how to do the most amazing things to help you and your team to move forward. This is what I have been doing. This is where I have been educated. So I would love you to say to me and look at me from one point of, would you like to give me the try? And he's completely quiet and nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, why? What? Like, okay, I should maybe just cut my mouth shut. And then he opens his mouth and says, Erik, you ready for China? And that story is sticking with me because of the three things. And I would like to share them with you today and hope to add some flames to your resilience as well. Because why did I keep doing this? And why did he then decide to say yes against all these odds? And to understand that, I would like to take a little bit of a journey from the neuroscientific point of view. So as a starter here, I would just like to share with you a screen and just say, now you're all looking at a very, very basic and easily understood, I hope, picture of the brain. And we're looking at it from the point of view that you're seeing let's look at it from three parts. You see the purple, you see the green, you see the blue, but then you have the cortex, which is the fourth part. Let's look at this from this point of view. First of all, we have the reptilian brain, which is right by the brainstem, and this is where all our instincts are. This is the whole thing of survival. If you're going on the street, you will be immediately thinking, is that or is that not dangerous to me? You're meeting people, you're walking into a boardroom, with regardless if you want it or not, your reptilian brain is on high alert, checking out, where should I sit? Where is it less threatening for me to be? In which situation do I want to be in right now? You're also looking for nutrition. I don't know how many of you right now are having a bottle of water or a cup of coffee or anything with you right now. You having that right now with you because you do know that if you do not do it, this meeting might cause you to, I don't know, lose attention, something like this. But then thirdly of all, you have the reproduction. And regardless if you want to say it or not, well, we do look for a way to mate. And that's part of our reptilian brain. It's very, very, very basic part of our looking at our neuroscience. But then you have the limbic system. This is where all the emotions are, the joy, the love, the sadness, the fear, the anger. This is where you are translating literally everything that's happening around you, and you can feel it. So these are all your emotions. So the first one, reptilian brain, is your instinct. And then you have the limbic system, which is the emotions. And then third of all, you have the neocortex, which is the latest brain that we have developed as human beings. And that is, if you're looking at the example right now, I'm telling you that 1 + 1 = 3, and your brain starts going like, oh, this is not right. I'm happy. There's something wrong with the wording according to some of you most probably right now. And here's the pink color according to me. And some of you will probably right now just be sitting there thinking like, no, not working. That is not how it is. That's not pink. That is not 1 + 1. And this is the same thing as when you walk into a room today or start talking to people, you're saying like, I have an idea. Why don't we start doing X, Y, or Z? And you see people like this. No, what's your experience? How many years of experience do you have? What do you know this from? Certain, etc., etc. That's the logic. And keeping this in mind right now, we have the instinct, we have the emotions, we have the logic, the reptilian brain, the limbic system, and the neocortex. Hopefully, this is a basic way of looking at our brain. Now, we're talking about resilience. And I would love to ask you to participate a bit now. Just for yourself, can you take a minute, or say 30 seconds, you're good at this. List the 3 things that you have bought. Try to list the 3 past things that you bought. It can be absolutely anything. Write it down on a piece of paper, on your computer, in your mind, however you want it. Now, when I normally do this, people go, oh, wait, Erik, can I list food? I go, yeah, but for this group, you kind of elite group here right now. So I'm going to say, don't list food. So try to put anything else than food on that list. It can be tickets, it can be subscriptions, it can be courses, gifts, clothing, whatever it is. List the last 3 things that you bought. And once you've done that, either you follow this on a computer or you do it on your phone. So you can easily right now either go to that site or you just open your iPhone, you scan that QR code with your camera. And if you have an Android, you might have the tool that allows you to scan the QR codes as well. So please go ahead and do that. Think back on the last 3 things that you bought. So say that one of you said a ticket. Why did you buy that ticket? And if you're looking at the 3 things that you bought, try to ask yourself now, okay, why did I buy them? Was it because of instinct, emotion, or logic? Just give it a mark, give it a hint. And then when you know that, okay, actually most of the reasons why I bought things is because of instinct. You just click A. If it was because of emotion, you click B. Logic, you do logic. Let's see where we're landing right now. We have 6 votes out of 8, so I'm gonna wait a moment. Why did you buy it? 8 out of 9. Let's see if we can get the 9 out of 9. There we go. Okay. Boom! Oh, I am not surprised, ladies and gentlemen. No one wrote instinct and 6 wrote logic. Good. I can say that you have voted exactly as I foresaw this. So then I will be able to continue the presentation. Okay, so emotion and logic. That's what you have been saying right now. 3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming back to all of you here. According to as much as we know about our brain, our body, spirituality, so forth, as much as we know right now, nothing we do is taken based off logic. No decisions we do are driven by logic. Everything that we do, like why do we do things, is because of emotions or instinct. I'll give you a couple of examples because here I don't know if I can go wild, but let's say this. A participant said to me that he was working as a painter and he was buying this blue color to paint the wall of a client of his. And he didn't match the wall at all. He didn't match the house. He didn't like the blue. He's like, no, Erik, this was not because of emotions. And this was obvious logic. And I say, is it really? Because what would happen if you did not buy the blue color and paint it in blue? What would have happened? And he goes, well, the client would not have wanted to work with me. Exactly. And what happens if the clients don't want to work with you? And then he starts thinking, and then he silently goes, I can see in his eyes, just goes, okay, I get it. Okay. Because for him, it was actually instinct. If he wouldn't have done that, he would have lost that job, and by losing that job, he might have lost that money that might have secured his rent for the apartment or whatsoever he needed for the safety on his in his life. Instinct and emotions drive all decisions. So all of you who right now said that it was because of logic, after this talk, go back, revisit it a little bit and think to yourself, was it really? And we're thinking about now, instinct and emotion drive all decisions. Now, consider this. There are 4 levels of way of motivating ourselves and others, and you might be sitting on it right now. The first level, drum roll, fear. And that can be translated into discounts, fines, or fear of missing out, promotions, flash sales, etc., etc. Rewards, bonuses, promotions, fame, popularity, money, you know it. Duty, that's the cause, that's the belief, that's the purpose of doing what you're doing. Love, the passion, the care, the contribution to the whole, the feeling of belonging to something bigger than yourself. And when people come to work with a higher sense of purpose, then if it is times when it's a little bit of a struggle or hard times, they will stick around. And they will also be able to find opportunities in these situations. And so will you. And talking about starting with why, as in start with duty or love, I understand that driving revenues, new technologies, services and products are popular or interesting to talk about right now, especially now when we're going through such change. But I would encourage everyone to start with why. Fear and reward are manipulation tactics. We know them. Duty and love, that's inspiring. And with that in mind, the third point for today, this man in 1963 got 250,000 people from across the nation to travel to see him, despite people were trying to tell him not to, or telling them not to. Why would they do that? He didn't have Twitter, he didn't have social media at that time, but why would people do that? Martin Luther King is one of the most inspiring people to study, according to my opinion. And by studying him, we're finding a lot of common similarities to what also the leading companies today have. And it all takes us to the moment of trust, that we do trust the people that we're sharing the values and beliefs with. Martin Luther King was driven by a belief, and you know what that belief right now from his famous I Have a Dream speech. Just consider it for yourself. The ones of you who have children, who would you rather ask as a babysitter? The one that is from your local community, or the one that maybe your friends had before or been having as well, but you have no idea actually that who they are? Or the one that comes from another community and have amazing reviews on Facebook, perhaps, but you don't know them at all? Or just consider the last time you went traveling and you happened to meet this person that is from your country even. Say, I'm from Sweden, I'm traveling in Vietnam, and I'm meeting a couple of Swedes in Vietnam. Who do you tend to trust more suddenly? We trust the people who we share our values and beliefs with. Which takes me to the point of this. Let's go back and just think of the story that I told you. Why did I keep going for 6 months? Why did I keep going, although I have easily received 50 rejections? And then why did this director of rooms finally go for giving me that opportunity? I asked him that when I was there. And he said to me, Erik, on the paper, you looked okay. But the way you spoke to me made me believe in you. And right now, resilience, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share that with you. The more emotionally invested you are, as we all know, that emotion drives all our decisions. the more emotionally invested we are, the more resilient we will be. When we're sharing our values and beliefs with ourselves and with the people around us, the more trustworthy we will become, and the more we will trust ourselves and also others, the more resilient we will become. When we start with why, instead of motivating customers, employees, ourselves with job titles, promotions, salary checks, vacation days, whatever you want to call it. Like, why would you keep going for 6 months to get somewhere if you could, at the end of the day, receive a higher paycheck? Would it really sustain you? Would it really be that resilience in you? So the more emotionally invested you are, ladies and gentlemen, the more resilient you will be. And I leave it over to James.